Trapped in a fire, carried out in a body bag, and yet somehow he lived to tell his story. Doctors have called local resident Frank Johnson's recovery a medical miracle. However, the story doesn't end there. Frank suffered a traumatic brain injury through this unfortunate event at the age of 31. Afterwards, he was labeled as disabled, a term that would stay with him for the rest of his life. But he spent the past 30-plus years working to inspire others to turn their disability into ability. And as Frank calls it, from flawed to fantastic, earning him the name Fantastic Frank. His story is being told in an upcoming Chicken Soup for the Soul due to be released this summer. And I'm honored to be joined by Fantastic Frank in the studio today. And thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And Frank, you have quite a story. You, in 1981, you were an engineer, you were a business owner, you were married, and I've heard you wrote before that you were on top of the world. And then you were the co-owner of Mugs Up, a downtown restaurant here in Rochester, and you were trapped in a fire there, and you were carried out in a body bag, as you write. And you lived to tell the story, a medical miracle today.
Thank you, yes. Now, when I got trapped in a fire, the only thing I remember was the thought that I was going to die from carbon monoxide poisoning, which I had. I almost did die, and when I woke up in the hospital, I had no recollection of what happened. And on the way to the hospital, a medic had inserted a trach tube damaging my voice box. So that is why I sound a bit drunker. I don't know what to say about that, but you don't know. That is my biggest challenge, is that when I speak, I'm concerned that people are going to judge me as being something else. And so I want people to be aware of that. Just because a person has a voice challenge, that doesn't mean that they have other impaired abilities. Obviously, I don't have anything like that.
And that move by that paramedic saved your life, and you decided when you came out of this coma, and you basically had to relearn everything, from what I understand.
I had to walk, to talk, to eat and speak over again. Now, I had lost everything. I had lost my family, my wife, my business relationship, my business. I even had to file bankruptcy. But I managed to turn tragedy to triumph and go from flawed to fantastic.
And that's what is great and captivating about your story, because you decided that while you weren't going to live within limitations, and that you were going to make a change. What was it? Because not everybody would be able to respond in such a positive way. How do you think that you were able to do that?
Well, I've had this question asked me many times before, and there wasn't an aha moment. It kind of developed over years. My first inclination was in 1990. I had heard Tony Robbins talking on the phone, and I went down to a UPW where I had to walk on fire. And believe me, I was scared to death to walk on fire. And because of that, that is my first step where I realized that I was more than just I never used the term disabled, but people had to label me as being disabled for various reasons, for financial reasons and stuff like that, which I don't recommend that you do. Now, what else do you want me to talk about?
Well, I want to talk about this fact that you decided that you were going to inspire millions. And you said, I'm not going to be called disabled. We're going to go from disabled to disability, rather, to ability. And I want, because I'm sure some viewers are watching, they're saying, where did this superhero costume come from? But I understand when you meet with people, you say to them, there's a hero that lives inside of you.
Yes, there is. There is a hero hidden within everyone. And no one knows how to find that except I could help them find that. I use something I call the Excel formula.
The Excel formula.
The Excel formula,
So tell us what that formula is.
The Excel formula, the E stands for you have to engage your superhero. The X stands for expect and believe it will come true. The C stands for...
And for C, celebrate, right?
Celebrate and with joy and abundance.
Gratitude and abundance.
Gratitude and abundance. And the E stands for evaluate your life and the L stands for let go of your fears. Thank you for helping me remember that.
Absolutely. When you tell people about this and that formula, what type of a response do you get?
Well, it depends on who the person is I'm speaking to, but people are amazed that I even came up with this idea. I found out about doing that, and I'm very blessed to be alive, though.
And you share your story in books,
Yes.
you travel around the country, and you meet with people all over. And I know that, I've read this, that you tell people there are 4 things that you should never think when you're disabled. Are you able to share those with
Yes,
some of our viewers?
I didn't bring my props with me. But
That's okay, that's okay.
Now, Clint Larson's going to have a heart attack when he sees this. And he's going to say, Frank, you should have been prepared to have this come up. The first thing that you should never think about is that you are disabled, because when you call yourself disabled, it places you in a box that's hard to get out of. A better choice of words would be to call yourself Fantastic Frank, or take on a new identity, or to label yourself as being differently abled. The reason you do that is it causes a brain schism in the person you're talking to. They don't know what the heck to label you as, so they usually don't. The second thing is,
I've got it down here. I wrote them down because I looked at these.
That's
okay, but your dreams, don't ever think your dreams are out of reach.
You have a star for that. Your dreams are out. Don't ever think that your dreams are out of reach. Look at me. I'm on TV. I motivate people all across the country. Every time I meet a person, they are inspired by me. The next thing is the rearview mirror. That your past is not as bright as your future. Because if you think that you have no future, then you are stuck.
And I'm going to say your last one, because they're telling me that we have only a few seconds left, but the last one is, don't ever think you have less opportunities than non-differently abled people.
Yes,
and I want to thank you for that. Fantastic, Frank.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure talking with you today. Thank you. To learn more about Frank Johnson and his outreach efforts, check out his website, fantasticfrankjohnson.com. And this segment was part of WXXI's Move to Include. It's a partnership with the Al Siegel Community of Agencies and the Golisano Foundation. Funding is provided by the Golisano Foundation, and Move to Include is presented as part of the Herman and Margaret Schwartz Community Series with additional support from the Fred L. Emerson Foundation.